Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're reading from chapter 5, text 14, Bhagavad-Gita as it is. Na karchitvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhu na karmapala samyogam svabhava chu pravartate nakartritvam nakarmani lokasya srijati prabhu nakarmapala samyogam svabhavastu pravartate. No, never, kartritvam, proprietorship. No, not, karmani, activities. Lokasya, of the people. Srijati, creates. Prabhu, the master of the city of the body. No, nor karmapala, with the results of activities. Samyogam, connection. Svabhava, the modes of material nature. To, but, pravartate, act. Translation and purport. By His divine grace, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivajagacharya Ashtadharajadashishi Madesi Bhakti Vedanta Tri Dandi Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada. The embodied soul, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. Purport. The living entity, as will be explained in the 7th chapter, is one of the energies or natures of the Supreme Lord, but is distinct from matter, which is another nature called inferior of the Lord. Somehow the superior nature of the living entity has been in contact with material nature since time immemorial. The temporary body or material dwelling place which he obtains is the cause of varieties of activities and their resultant reactions. Living in such a conditional atmosphere, one suffers the results of the activities of the body by identifying himself in ignorance with the body. It is ignorance acquired from time immemorial that is the cause of the bodily suffering and distress. As soon as the living entity becomes aloof from the activities of the body, he becomes free from the reactions as well. As long as he is in the city of the body, he appears to be the master of it. But actually he is neither its proprietor nor controller of its actions and reactions. He is simply in the midst of the material ocean, struggling for existence. The waves of the ocean are tossing him and he has no control over them. His best solution is to get out of the water by transcendental Krishna consciousness. That alone will save him from all turmoil. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Varakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vedam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminitti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatcha Deshatarine Mukam Korochi Vartalam Pangum Namyagate Girim Yadkripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarvanam. So, here we are, being tossed in the waves of this material ocean since time immemorial. It's a very, very heavy situation, very heavy. Sometimes we're a worm, sometimes we're a germ, sometimes we're a bird or a beast or a snake, sometimes we're a human being, sometimes we're a demigod. We've been tossed by the waves of this material ocean for billions and trillions and quadrillions of years, incalculable number of years. But now by the grace of His divine grace, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Padivajrakacharja Astatarasadasi Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Tri Dandi Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada. We have been blessed with the opportunity to get out of this miserable quagmire and to get back to our original identities we once had in the pastimes of the Supreme Lord in His spiritual world. We don't belong in this nasty place. This is not our home. Each one of us is an intimate associate of God Himself and His transcendental pastimes. What are we doing here, misidentifying? I'm a man, I'm a woman. What is this nonsense? Kick it out, kick it out, kick it out with boot. False identification with the material body. We're eternal spiritual beings, just as God is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. We, being qualitatively one with Him, are also eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. we exist, actually we are being emanated from that Supreme Lord eternally for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to have a loving relationship with Him. It's the only reason we exist. We don't exist because our mother and father wanted to have a baby. That's not why we exist. That explains this particular body. It doesn't explain us. So it's time to become sober, not be carried away by sense gratificatory desires to keep us bound up in this karmic nightmare. So to kind of become sober and realize I need to get back to that pure, loving relationship with Krishna or God. That's my only necessity. If I focus on that, even the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and then all other things shall be added unto you. So here we are, struggling, bumbling neophytes. We're thinking about this arrangement, that arrangement, what arrangements I can make. You see? But we're forgetting the essence of what Krishna consciousness means. You see? It means to re-establish that lost loving relationship with Krishna right here, right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, but right here, right now, my heart must go totally to Krishna. As Lord Chaitanya prays, I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and He shall remain so. Even if He handles me roughly by His embrace, or leaves me broken-hearted by not being present before me, He is still my worshipful Lord unconditionally. So don't put any requirements on God. So my dear Lord, I will be your devotee if you give me this, you give me that. Is it? Kick out all the ifs. There's no ifs. For those who are intelligent, they kick out all ifs. Krishna, I belong to you, and that's it, forever. Do whatever you want to with me, you see. Whatever you want to do with me, my Lord, it's up to you. You want me to take me back to your abode? I'm ready. You want me to stay here and preach lifetime after lifetime? I'm ready. Whatever you want to do with me, it's fine with me, but I belong to you. And I want to do whatever you want me to do. I want that my every thought should be pleasing to you. My every word should be pleasing to you. And my every action in every single situation should be totally, completely pleasing to you. So my Lord, I've been a rebel for so many millions of lifetimes, thinking that I was the supreme, thinking I was the center of enjoyment, trying to gratify my senses in so many ways like a complete fool, idiot, moron. Isn't it? You see? So now I kick it all out, my Lord. Now I totally belong to you. At this very moment, I totally give myself to you, and you can do whatever you want to with me, and I will always belong to you. That's it, finished, you see. That's how we have to train our minds, you see. We have to speak in that vein and act in that vein, you see. But Krishna is invisible to us right now because we're covered by the cataracts, lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy. Therefore, Krishna kindly appears in the form of the spiritual master. He kindly appears in the form of the Vaishnavas, so we can develop loving relationships with them. In fact, Krishna clearly tells to Arjuna, Ye me bhakta jana partha, na me bhaktastate janaha, mad bhaktanam cha ye bhaktas, te me bhakta tamamata. My dear Arjuna, those who are my devotees, Na me bhakta, they're not my devotees. I mean, what? Krishna says his devotees are not his devotees? And they'd be bewildered to hear that. But then he clarifies, but the devotee of my devotee, he is my devotee. That's why you have to have a guru. A devotee you fully give yourself to. You have to have a guru, otherwise Krishna says, who are you? You're not my devotee. I don't care if you have a tilak or a sari or a dhoti, kanti mala. If you're not a devotee of my devotee, you're just an imposter. Krishna is very strict on this point. I know I tried to get away with that when I first joined. I'll just be a devotee of Krishna. I won't take initiation. Devotee said that Bhakta Steve, Krishna says right here, Tadvidi pranipatena, how you can say you're just going to be a devotee of Krishna. Krishna says, become the devotee of the devotee. You see? But I was a stubborn holdout. No, I'm not going to do it. I'll just be a devotee of Krishna. Because then I have some freedom. Do what I want. I was such a fool. But then one day, in fact, there was an amazing thing happened. The devotees in London, in connection with George Harrison, produced this album called the Radha Krishna Temple album, which is now the Govinda prayers. Govinda Madi Puri. That was the first track on that album. And the second track went Samsaradava Naladida Loka Tranaya Karyunya Gana Ganadvam Praptasya Kalyana Gunana Vasyam Vande Guroshi Charanara Vindam. So my service was to vacuum the temple room rug every morning, and we just gotten that album. Actually, what happened is a radio station had been sent as a promo. They didn't want to play it. They thought those Hare Krishna guys, they'll probably like it. So they found this when we were out on Harinam. They handed us the record album. Wow. I said, here, you guys might like this. We don't want to play it. And wow, did we play it. We had a record player in the temple room, and we kept playing that album again and again. So I was vacuuming the temple room rug one morning, and I was hearing that. It was just, I was amazed. These devotees, they're expressing their love for the spiritual master, for Srila Prabhupada. And there's something special about that love. In my life, well, I love the dog, or I love my country, or I love the girl, or I love the guitar, or whatever, But they didn't have that feeling, that sweetness was missing, and that kind of, because it was lust actually. It was all lust. It didn't have that sweetness, that rust, that flavor, that nectarian essence, you see. But I could sense by hearing how the devotees were singing with love for Prabhupada, I could tune into that sweet, sweet feeling, that ecstatic joy they were feeling. I got a sense of this happiness they were tasting by giving their love to Prabhupada. I realized they got their tongues in the honey jar, and I'm licking the outside of the jar. Here I am trying to get honey in the outside. I won't be a disciple. They said, I will be a disciple. They had their tongues in the honey jar, and I was licking the outside of the honey jar. And they said, yes, I'll be a disciple. When can I get initiated? Prabhupada mercifully accepted me. He gave me the name Sankarshan Das. A letter from London on November 12th, 1971, a very special day in my life. Prabhupada accepted me. I have an email, or not email, but it was a mail order disciple. By letter I got initiated. So we really have to understand the importance of having a spiritual master, and not just in name only. Yeah, I have my guru, and Prabhupada said, don't take guru as a pet. Yeah, I got my guru. No, you have to surrender. You have to give your life and soul to your spiritual master. Now I belong to him. He is my eternal master. For all of eternity, I'm under his order and direction. You see, that's the mood. I totally give myself in love to my spiritual master, you see. And that's when you have that mood, that's when you capture Krishna. That's when Krishna becomes your personal property, you see. When you're a totally sold out disciple of your spiritual master, Krishna becomes your personal property. So, we have to learn this art. How to serve Guru, how to serve Vaishnavas, you see. If you just serve your Guru and you don't serve the Vaishnavas, your spiritual master will not like that, you see. You have to serve the Vaishnavas also. Just like Prabhupada's sister, she was really in that mood. Her name was Bhavatarini Devi Dasi, but we didn't call her that, it would be too familiar. We called her Pishima, or Auntie, Pishima. She used to come during the Mayapur festival. We used to have a big festival in Mayapur every year. All the devotees from the ISKCON would go to Mayapur, and then Vrindavan also. But she would be there during the Mayapur festival, and she just wanted to serve the devotees. She would say, "You are a devotee, what will you eat?" She wanted to cook for the devotees, you see. She just wanted to cook for the devotees. She just wanted to serve the devotees. That was her great joy, to serve the devotees, you see. And when she was so humble, after she would sit in one place, she would feel, oh, I have contaminated the floor. She would get some water and a cloth and wipe where she was sitting on the floor, because she felt she had contaminated the floor by sitting there. You see, she was so humble that I'm just a contaminated thing, and wherever I sit, I can pollute it, so I have to wash the area where I sat. You see, not to show about it. She actually felt that way. I'm dirty. I have to clean this floor because I sat on this corner of the floor over here. So we can learn from great Vaishnavas like Pishima. This mood of always wanting to serve the Vaishnavas and feeling very contaminated and low. You see. Someone may say, but you've got to have some self-confidence. I mean, if you really felt low and contaminated, how you can be happy? You've got to be a little puffed up, thinking, yeah, I'm great. This is a material conception. The more you feel low, lower than the straw in the street, that is your exalted consciousness. The more you feel lowly, 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 that's the more you become elevated and enlightened in your eternal spiritual nature, and you taste the sweetest bliss. So the more you actually become more confident and empowered, the more you feel yourself insignificant. Sometimes devotees think, well, they don't realize that. They think you got to be a little puffed up, you know, push your way around a little bit. But actually, the more you feel humble, that is your advancement of Krishna consciousness and the awakening of the nectarian rasa of loving service to Krishna within the heart. Of course, for preaching, we have to sometimes be very strong, like a lion. That's also good. Just like I always give the example, I was out preaching one day in Gainesville, Florida, by the university campus. It was a wonderful day, a nice, pleasant day. I had a big bowl of Simply Wonderfuls. I was passing them out to all the people up and down the street, feeling really good, and they were all very happily accepting the Simplies, you know. The one smart aleck hippie, he thought he would have fun with this Hare Krishna guy. So he went ka-wham, and he hit all the sweets out into the street. So what do you do when somebody knocks all the prasadam out in the middle of the street? You just go, Hare Krishna? No. I understood this is the time to manifest divine anger. I'll kind of tone it down so you all run out of the room, but you better get out there and pick up all those sweets right now, like that. And I yelled at him. I pointed right in his face, and like I was going to beat the crud out of him if he didn't do what I said. But of course I wouldn't have done that, but it was that kind of a tone, you know. You better get up and pick up those sweets right now, like that. And it really worked. He went, and he ran out in the street and picked up all the sweets. He actually overcame the offense because I came down on him with a heavy blast of anger. He actually was relieved of his offense. He ran out, actually it's the middle of the intersection, the light was red, he ran out in front of the cars and was picking up sweets. And I helped him actually. So we got all the sweets picked up before the light turned green. And the cars went rolling, and they would have rolled over all the sweets. So sometimes in preaching we have to be like a lion, you see. But the point is, the more you become humble, when you have to act like a lion, the more powerful a lion you will be. Sometimes we have to be like a lion, you see, for preaching. But the more you feel humble and insignificant, the more you'll be empowered to act strongly when it's required to act strongly. So this process of Krishna consciousness is very, very effective. Prabhupada actually told us to deliver the whole world. I've been hearing repeatedly a morning walk conversation with his leaders on the beach in Los Angeles back in '73. He wants them to take the leadership of the whole world. You see, that's what Prabhupada wants. He wants that Krishna consciousness should be accepted as the world religion. And all the leaders will run their governments, their institutions in accordance with Bhagavad-Gita. That's the duty we have in our preaching work. We have to enlighten all the leaders of the world to follow these Vedic principles and create a Vedic culture on this planet. You see. It's like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, I think, is the one who said, when all the high court judges are wearing Vaishnava tilak, then we're successful. So we have to be thinking like them. How can I preach in such a way that I can attract more and more people to join this movement, and train them to attract more and more people to join this movement, who can train them to attract more and more people until the whole world becomes Krishna conscious. That's our goal, to make the whole world Krishna conscious. Prabhupada explains in his purport, a Krishna conscious being, now I ask you this, are we supposed to be Krishna conscious beings or not? What is your answer? Are you supposed to be a Krishna conscious being? Okay. Prabhupada defines a Krishna conscious being. What is his mentality? So we can see whether they're really up to the mark or not. Get ready to be embarrassed, okay? Prabhupada said a Krishna conscious being is always thinking and planning how he can deliver the entire suffering humanity back to home, back to Godhead. Woo! That's what it means to be Krishna conscious. That every minute you're thinking, how can I speak, think, and act in such a way that this entire suffering humanity can go back to home, back to Godhead. That's what it means to be Krishna conscious. Whoa, Krishna. And here I'm thinking about eating, sleeping, mating, and offending. You see? You'd be a little embarrassed, you know. Krishna. But Prabhupada said, even if he is not successful in doing so, his perfection is guaranteed, and anybody who follows him will achieve perfection. So this is the key for every devotee in ISKCON. Every devotee should learn to think, speak, and act in such a way at every minute that he's acting for the benefit of every single living entity who is caught up in the cycle of birth and death. Because if nothing else, he's guaranteed to go back to Godhead. And if he makes a few devotees, they'll be really good devotees by his association, you see. And who knows? The miracle could happen, you see. That the Prabhupada told us it can happen. The whole world can become Krishna conscious. So that's our endeavor. We want to make the whole world Krishna conscious as soon as possible, doing everything possible. Book distribution, preaching programs, prasadam distribution, first-class deity worship, first-class association, first-class cultivation programs, everything we can do to spread this movement and make this Krishna consciousness the world religion as soon as possible. You see? You can be a Christian and be Krishna conscious. You can be a Muslim and be Krishna conscious. You see, we don't deny Islam or Christianity or Judaism. They can all be included within Krishna consciousness. You see. Just like I'm a Hare Krishna Christian, for example. I never rejected Jesus. Now I'm truly following Jesus. You see. Better than I did when I was a so-called. Now I'm a real Christian. Before I was a so-called Christian, now I'm a real Christian. You see, because I'm actually following Jesus' example of pure devotion by serving Prabhupada's instructions. You see. So this is the perfection of religion. Rajya Vijrajago Yang Bhavrittam Idamuttamam Jakshabagamam Jam Shushakam Katamam Yagam. This knowledge is the king of education. It's the perfection of religion. It's everlasting, it's joyfully reformed. So there's a good test to see if you're actually Krishna conscious or not. If you want to do your own little self-test, am I Krishna conscious or not? If you're ecstatic, that's and that ecstasy doesn't depend on any external situations, then you might be Krishna conscious. But if you're up and down, you're morose, you're not. See, a devotee is never morose, actually. The devotee is always ecstatic. If you're morose, well, you're not Krishna conscious. Really, you're not. So one has to learn how to connect with the mercy of Krishna, which is. Do you realize that Krishna is the supreme orchestrator? That everything that is happening to you at every second in all times, places, and circumstances is happening within Krishna's orchestration specifically for you, to help you come to Him as soon as possible. You see? Everything. Krishna is blessing you with unlimited mercy at every minute. We just have to learn how to see it, and how to understand it, and how to comprehend it, and how to reciprocate with it. We're not very expert right now. That's why we're called neophytes. We're not very expert in this stuff. But if you read these books, you can understand what is the actual standard that I must come to as soon as possible. If I don't, I'm simply cheating myself. You understand? Not coming, Prabhupada ordered me to become a pure devotee. If I don't, by not being a pure devotee, I'm disobeying my spiritual master. He said, now you just qualify yourself to see Krishna face to face. It's a direct order in writing. Prabhupada sent me a letter and ordered me to become a pure devotee. If I'm not a pure devotee, I'm disobeying my spiritual master. I'm committing an offense. Therefore, I must be a walking, talking aparad, because I'm not a pure devotee yet, you see. So in this way, we have to understand this science. We have to understand the necessity of purifying our hearts, kicking out lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy by awakening loving feelings for the spiritual master, the devotees, the holy name, the deities, the holy dham. You see, all of these things. Try to awaken feelings of love. That's the most important thing. Because that love comes, the other stuff goes away, you see. When you feel love for Vrindavan, love for the name, love for the deities, try to do everything you can, more and more and more, to awaken feelings of love. Because that will conquer all this nonsense we have that's keeping us caught up in material consciousness. This love for Krishna and everything related with Krishna is more powerful than even all the wealth of Kuvera, the treasure of the demigods. So we have to learn how to connect with Krishna by awakening that feeling of love within the heart. And then you'll never be miserable. You'll be bliss and heavy at every minute. You see, every minute, bliss and heavy. Wow. What could be more nectarian than this? Krishna. You see. You should be in a state of awe at every minute of how much you're being blessed by Krishna. Because you are. He's giving you unlimited mercy right here, right now. But we're so dull, it just kind of bounces off. When's Prashadam? When can I sleep? Maybe I can find a husband or a wife, and everything you need to be happy, you have it right here and right now by Krishna's grace. So just learn to connect with it, that's all. You just got to learn how to connect with it. You have unlimited mercy blessing you at this very minute. You just have to learn how to connect with it. Don't be dull-headed, Prabhupada said. Don't be a dullard. Trouble is we're dullards. That's duh. So anyway, we have a few minutes left. Of course, the original Bhagavad-Gita class went on for 18 days. I don't know, what's 18 times 24? It's a pretty long class.
Well, that was the battle.
Huh?
That was the battle, wasn't it?
That was the battle, isn't it?
That was the battle? Yeah, the battle. Yeah. We also have our own battlefield of Kurukshetra, each one of us. We're fighting our own battle with our damn minds. That's our battle of Kurukshetra, with our minds, you see. It's like Arjuna was battling the Kurus. We're battling the Kurus. Our mind is like the Kurus. So anyway, if there's any questions, I'll try to answer them. I may have to have somebody repeat it because I'm a little on the deaf side here. But any questions from the assembled Vaishnavas? Any challenges? Do you think I'm off the track? You want to point out some defect? Maybe I'm wrong. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I said something wrong. I deviated from Prabhupada's teachings. You can tell me. If you can point out my faults, I'll consider your blessing me. You see. Does anybody have any question? I was just scratching his... Here's a question.
Shilabhudev, you mentioned the fact that even after coming to Krishna consciousness, we are conditioned and we cannot, we cannot accept the mercy. So the people who are not Krishna conscious, they are in even greater conditioning. They cannot accept Krishna consciousness.
So what's the question?
So how to deal with that? They're not taking it.
How do we get them to take the mercy?
Yeah, to take up.
Well, the thing is, here's the secret. The more that you can actually accept the mercy of Krishna that you're being blessed with, to that extent, you become an instrument for His mercy. Just like I just read an amazing quote today from Prabhupada. He said, actually, I'm delivering the world using you all as my instruments. Wow. Pretty amazing quote from Prabhupada. So the thing is, to whatever extent you actually connect with that mercy of Krishna, to that extent you're empowered to give the mercy. To whatever extent you take the mercy, to that extent you're empowered to give the mercy. So you should focus on taking full advantage of the mercy of Guru, Krishna, and Vaishnavas. Make that your focus as your sadhana, and by doing that, you'll become empowered more and more and more to bless the whole world with Krishna consciousness. That's the key. The more you can accept the mercy, the more you can absorb the mercy that's coming. In other words, when the rain of mercy is there, but put away your umbrella. Let them become soaked in that rain of mercy. And then you'll be empowered to give mercy to so many people, you see. That's the key. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for the giving the test for Krishna consciousness. Being in ecstasy, you mentioned as the test for Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
So could it be only on the perfectional stage as a test, or for any level of our advancement in our...
Now the ecstasy is there in the very beginning. In the beginning I'm 1% ecstatic, Then I go to 2% and then 3%. Otherwise, how do we join? Our ecstasy is not perfect, but it's certainly better than material sense gratification. Otherwise, why are we even here? We're tasting some nectar. And the more you become purified, the more that in taste increases and finally becomes 100%. So even though in the beginning it may just be 1% or 5%, but it's so much better than whatever we had in the material world, you see. But it keeps getting better and better. I know, I've been doing this for 47 years now, you see. And what I'm tasting now is a lot better than what I tasted when I joined. And it's getting better all the time. In fact, the more it gets better, the faster it gets better also. So every devotee should aspire to make as much spiritual advancement as they can, as quickly as they can. And the rewards are actually unlimited for doing that. Unlimited. Why cheat yourself by hanging on to egotism, lust, anger, greed, madness, delusion, and envy? Why would you want to cheat yourself? Bless yourself by taking the mercy of Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Next. Thanks for the nice question. I like that question. Very good question. Yes.
Maharaj, you mentioned that devotees are never morose.
Mention what?
Devotees are never morose, you said.
Neophyte devotees are sometimes morose, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we go by your practical examples in temples, we see many devotees are in management, many devotees are in this department, that department, doing this thing, that thing, going through this way, that way, indulge in so many practical aspects of life. And, not everything goes as per
What is he saying so far? I can't. Can you understand?
Many devotees in temples acting as managers,
and many other aspects of life that are involved in temples.
and many aspects of life that are involved in the temples.
And but they, because of indulgence in different sevas and all that, and they never remain in that mood of ecstasy, because externally they appear to be indulged in that seva, like seems to be frustrated with that seva because of this thing, that thing. So they never seems to be enthusiastic, ecstatic in.
But because they're doing so much service, dealing with so many difficulties, problems, they are kind of frustrated and never in ecstasy.
The thing is that the more you take anxiety on your head, that's actually very good. Prabhupada explains that Lord Chaitanya is in great anxiety to see the suffering souls of this world. It's transcendental anxiety. He is in great pain and anguish to see the suffering souls of this world. So devotees who are willing to accept anxiety, like being a temple manager, for example, willing to take that burden of anxiety on their head, how to help, how to run the temple, how to keep the departments going. It's so many headaches. The Vajari is sick, this happened, and somebody's dog dies, or there's so many things go on, and he has to deal with all this stuff, So that burden of anxiety, actually, he's helping Lord Chaitanya to have less anxiety by taking those anxieties on his head. And such a devotee who's willing to take the anxieties of pushing forward Krishna consciousness is very, very dear to Lord Chaitanya and becomes very, very blessed with the sweetest nectar. So one should never feel that, I don't want to accept a burden. The more you accept burdens, the more you become blessed, and actually in that mood and understanding the auspiciousness of this position, one enters into the sweetest ecstasy in the middle of all the burdens. It's like just like a hurricane. You don't have hurricanes in India, but we have them in the U.S. The eye of the hurricane is completely still, but the periphery is humongous winds that can knock a building over immediately. So devotee may be in the midst of so many troubles, but he's in the eye of the hurricane. So many incredible troubles going on all around him, but if he's properly situated in transcendental understanding, just like Prabhupada, He was dealing with more managerial headaches than any of us could ever even begin to imagine to deal with. But he was completely blissful in the middle of all of it, you see. So we have to learn from Prabhupada's example how to take big, big burden of responsibility at the same time be completely fixed in Krishna consciousness. But actually doing that is where one can take responsibility. It's like a guru, for example. Do you realize that Prabhupada says the guru has to take birth after birth until all of his disciples go back to Godhead? Whoa! That's it. Being a guru is a very heavy burden, you see. He's stuck, his disciples can keep him in the cycle of birth and death if they don't go back. So, one should say, okay, Krishna, I belong to you, whatever you want to do with me, it's all right. Make me dance as you like. If you have that mood, then even in the midst of in the middle of great turmoil and difficulties, you'll be like in the eye of the hurricane. The thing is that the managers have to learn to chant very good japa. Yes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All the devotees, not just managers. Actually, we're all burdened with the responsibility to live with the fallen souls of this world. So we should all take great shelter of the holy names and find great ecstasy and happiness by fully giving ourselves to Krishna in the form of his name. You see? And then we can deal with anything.
What are the possible ways of this moroseness to come into our daily life? I mean, what are the causes? Could be possible causes that could affect us in.
If you become depressed, that means Arjuna was also depressed. He was forgetting who was the actual controller behind everything. He was feeling very morose and depressed on this battlefield. He didn't realize if I just do what Krishna wants, there's no reason to be morose. We forget that actually all we have to do is please Krishna. That's all we have to do. We keep forgetting that. We get caught up on other planes of so-called happiness, and which are actually causes the distress. We have to realize I have one business only, and that is to please Krishna with my every thought, word, and deed, in every situation. Let me do which is best for my Krishna consciousness and the Krishna consciousness of all other living beings. Let me think, speak, and act always in that way, and then in any situation one can be blissful. It means you're forgetting your actual duty. You're caught up in some externals. You see? One has to be an instrument in the hands of Guru and Krishna. If one thinks I'm the controller, you must be in anxiety, because we're not the controller. We're puppets in the hands of Guru and Krishna. Prabhupada said, I'm just a puppet, and Krishna is pulling my strings. You have to develop that mood, and then in any situation you can be happy, undisturbed. Even in the midst of the greatest difficulties, you remain blissful, ecstatic. Next. Yes.
Krishna, thank you for your class. I was thinking when you were talking about burden, like for instance, if you're taking care of the deity, doing deity worship. If you're chanting the mountain, you don't have to think of it as a burden. You can think of it as maybe a burden of love. To not think that this is, this is a burden. Sounds like it means it's a problem.
Let me catch up with my hearing. What's she saying?
Sometimes when we doing deity service or chanting, that is not like a burden, but like a burden of love.
What, the chanting?
Chanting or deity service?
Yeah, burden of love is all right.
Sometimes chanting.
It's like the mother, she's taking care of the baby. It's a very heavy burden, but it's a burden of love. She's in great joy taking care of her baby, you see. You say, you tell the mother, why are you working so hard? She goes, what do you mean working hard? This is my baby. You see? So when you have a burden of love, it's no question of working too hard. It's just your loving, it's your love. That's all.